meets the eye. Transformers! Robots in disguise. Transformers! More than meets the eye. Transformers! Robots in Transformers.
Hey B, what do you say to watching some Hollywood TOYZ videos?
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to Hollywood TOYZ, the only place where you can live the movies. I am your host, Magic Mike, and welcome to my channel where I do travel and entertainment vlogs where I cover theme parks, comic and horror cons, movies, celebrities, action figures, video games, and more. And I also have some pretty cool action figure and movie merch as well. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that notification bell so that you won't miss out on any future videos, live streams, or new product releases. And now, it's magic time, folks, and welcome back for another weekly dose of Mailing Monday Live, where every Monday afternoon you can catch me on camera. That's right. Catch me on camera doing my thing, printing shipping labels and shipping items out to all of my wonderful customers across the US, across the world, of all of my amazing Hollywood TOYZ products, such as movie prop replicas and action figure diorama backdrops from your favorite movies and franchises, all the greatest of the great stuff from the 80s to the early 2000s, and a little bit outside of that range here and there, that you can get only from Hollywood TOYZ. You could visit the Hollywood TOYZ Facebook store in the description box below, where you could go check out the Hollywood TOYZ catalog, all categorized by franchise, by action figure type. We got movie prop replicas from all your favorite movies, such as Total Recall, The Fly, RoboCop, The Terminator, The Matrix, Back to the Future, and so much more. And action figure diorama backdrops for your action figure collection, so that you can display your action figures with some style. So we got your action figure diorama backdrops for movie Transformers, G1 Transformers, Marvel, DC, Back to the Future, Star Wars, and so much more. That's right. And a lot more that will be coming soon, as I'm always in the background, not only working on YouTube videos, but also working on even more movie prop replicas and action figure backdrops that are going to be coming your way any day. That's right. So, of course, as always, as we make our printing labels and ship out our items, going to be updating everybody on everything and everything like that, you know what I mean? So we have 13 packages ready to roll out. So we're going to start printing labels wait for more people to join so they could all be part of this Hollywood Toys madness. Yeah, all right, so we're gonna get started and printing up these whatever. Hope everyone had a great weekend, just like me. It's always great round here's. So yeah, with a million tabs opened up, always doing a million things at once. I just need a break, y'alls. But yet I don't. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. All right, we're gonna print up some labels, syncing it all up. All right, so labels. All right, the first one, that's the correct weight and correct price. As is that. Use this address. Yes, that'll be great. Oh man, it's nuts. Why is that? Oh, see, that's what we double check. Check it and update it to the correct weight. Oh, use this address. Okay, thank you. And that one, and that one. Yep. And the last one on the list, which is that one. Purchase $35.25 and labels for batch number 1. And print away. Yes. I love that magical sound. Let's not forget to get the scan sheet as well. There it is. Yeah. And now for the next. Coming my way, coming your way. We're getting it going. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to also go back to what I was doing from before, as I am watching Poseidon Entertainment, another one of my favorite YouTube channels. It's a theme park channel. So let's see if we can pull it up here. Set instruction. Yep. Why not? Let's watch together. Talking about Disney World updating the carousel of progress and changing out all the decades and all that good stuff. Is it going to be good? I don't know. But here it is.
You know, in my day.
Oh no, you're not going to tell us about the old days when you didn't even have a.
So be sure to subscribe to Poseidon Entertainment
For a while, we didn't even
for your
have
theme park entertainment.
not to mention laser discs and high-def TV. Everything's automated today, including,
Someone use the toilet.
well, including that.
No privacy at all around this place.
All right.
Sorry, Orville. Anyway, you guys don't know how good you got it nowadays.
You know, my grandpa told me
Shipping.
the same thing when I
Get
was a
label.
kid.
Take that, you nincompoop!
Hey, check it out, Dad. Grandma's up to 975 points.
Wow, 975?
John, what's wrong with the oven?
What,
Anyone for pizza?
Oh, another Christmas turkey ruined.
Man, what a game. I really smoked those guys. Looks like I'm resident flying ace now.
Oh, best 2 out of 3, Grandma.
Later, kid. Boy, that was fun. What will they think of next?
Who knows? We've got
Teen
a whole new
Houses?
century waiting for us out
No.
there.
Yeah, and maybe sometime in the new century, your father will learn how to talk to our oven.
Well, maybe by then ovens will read our minds. But hey, as long as we're all here and happy and together for the holidays, who cares if I burned our Christmas turkey?
I do. I'm
So,
sorry.
anybody recognize the voice of the main narrator for Carousel of Progress?
Someday, everything's gonna be so automated.
Anyone knows who it is?
Another Christmas turkey again.
Okay.
There's a great big beautiful tomorrow.
That's another 12. That's correct. That's correct. This one is.
$7, or discover your new favorite for $9, like fajita.
If you go back and watch footage from the development of the 1964 version of the Carousel of Progress, on first impression, it might seem pretty similar. The attraction was initially developed for the never-built Edison Square, an offshoot of Disneyland's Main Street that would have been focused on technology around the turn of the century. The show itself was originally known as Harnessing the Light. It would have been focused on the development of technology and electricity, but a lot of the scenes were then adapted and reused when it came time to develop the Carousel of Progress. Needing to raise money for the project, Disney took on General Electric as a sponsor, and so this original version was more focused on technology than actual culture. It initially starts off the same, showing off the appliances of what is likely the 1890s, and the first encounter with Mother is also the same as she's doing the laundry. However, the next scene with the son is very different, as instead of viewing the stereoscope as we see today, he instead has no dialogue and is using a manually powered vacuum cleaner. Otherwise, the first act isn't really too different in content from how we know it today, other than the dialogue being different and often making misogynistic jokes. You also notice that character design started off a bit differently, and even animals like the parrot and the dog were quite different as well. Moving on to the 1920s, it's also very similar to the version we know today, with an emphasis on showing off new appliances. But in the first scene, instead of sewing 4th of July costumes, Mother is again shown doing the laundry. This is then followed by a familiar scene of the grandfather and son listening to a phonograph, but then you meet Daughter, who, instead of being embarrassed to be dressed up like the Statue of Liberty, is essentially told off to go to bed. After witnessing Orville in the bathtub, Act 2 concludes and moves on to the 1940s. It starts off similar to how you would expect, but instead of the grandparents watching television, it initially had them listening to the radio. Instead of the Rompus Room scene being last, it was now the second, and the actual concluding scene had the kids watching television. Finally, the attraction moved into Act 4, which is very different from what we recognize today. It was set during Christmas in the 1960s, featuring only Mother and Father as they showcased the technology on display in their modern house. At the conclusion of the fair, the attraction was disassembled, where it was moved to California and reopened at Disneyland in 1967. Other than cosmetic updates and some small scene changes, the show wasn't too different. However, it had viewers exit to a second floor where they could look down and see a model of Progress City, which worked as an early illustration of the Epcot project. You might recognize that part of this model is on display on the Magic Kingdom People Mover today, but in this version of the Carousel of Progress, it was also recreated as a background in the 1960s scene. With the Magic Kingdom opening in 1971, General Electric wanted to move the attraction there to showcase their products to a broader audience, and so it reopened there in 1975. One of the most notable changes was that the iconic song, There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, which was written by the Sherman Brothers, was replaced by another piece by them, called The Best Time of Your Life. This was intended to showcase that General Electric products were ready for your home now and not the future. The attraction was updated in other ways, including updated aesthetics, a new script with new voice actors, and generally, scenes were changed to be more familiar to the version we know today. For example, you see the son get his stereoscope in the 1890s, and Mother adopts embroidery in the 1920s, a precursor for the 4th of July costume sewing scene that you see in the current version. Various changes would be made to other scenes of the show too, but the most dramatic was Act 4, updating the time period to the 1970s, the family is now celebrating New Year's Eve as father makes chili. I won't go into the content of the scene, but notice the staging of the family and the daughter playing the guitar, because there's a callback to this in the new concept art that Disney released. In 1981, the attraction went through another update, with most scenes becoming more familiar, but Act 4 again changed dramatically, reflecting of course the 1980s. The family again talks about how modern technology has changed their life, and the father is now making New Year's Eve omelets. The final update came in 1994, bringing the version we know today with the return of the original song, and each scene taking on the theme of a holiday, with the 1890s being Valentine's Day, the 1920s the 4th of July, the 1940s Halloween, and Act 4's House of the Future taking place during Christmas. It's also notable that while technology is certainly a factor, the dropping of GE as the sponsor allowed this version to focus more broadly on the culture of each decade as well.
Are you still struggling with video creation? I know you want that cinematic quality, but without the headache of complex edit.
So the question is, has the Carousel Progress changed enough over time that it's as different from the 1960s through the 1990s as the new version that completely changes every scene will be? To me, the answer is clearly no, because while the dialogue has changed, animatronics and decor have been updated, and entire scenes have been reimagined, the core of the attraction has not changed, and has been tastefully updated with each decade. It reminds me a lot of how during the Eisner era, attractions were updated in meaningful ways, while still preserving their core experience. Spaceship Earth is a really good example of this, changing the ending scene with each new update, while also adding better lighting and animatronics, keeping it feeling relatively current in a way that the 1982 version would not be. Remember how Bob Chapek threatened to turn this attraction into some nonsense about the history of storytelling, as Moana's grandmother flew around as a manta ray? Thank God COVID shut down the budget for that idea. However, now that the Iger and Chapek era have passed, I really do think that the newly announced Carousel Progress could be great. In the initial opening scene, it will feature the Walt Disney animatronic to introduce the show, and it will run through the 1960s, the 1980s, the new millennium, and the possible future. As I just pointed out earlier, it also appears that Act 4 is a throwback to the original 1970s version of this scene, with the daughter playing the guitar, and father cooking up another dish for the family. In some ways, the limited concept art also reminds me of Horizons. If you're not familiar with it, Horizons opened at Epcot in 1983 as a ride focused on futurism, starting off by showing different versions of historically envisioned futures. However, the bulk of the ride followed the family from the Carousel Progress, with father and mother retiring in their house of the future, the daughter becoming an engineer on a robotic desert farm, her boyfriend working at an underwater city called the Sea Castle, and finally showing the son living in a space colony called Brava Centauri. It's an absolutely fascinating attraction, and I think we might even see hints of it in the new final scene for Carousel Progress. However, as much as I think that this idea has potential, is it worth replacing the historical sets and themes of what's currently there? I would say no, because it really is replacing something unique. I like the setting of the 1890s, the 1920s, and the 1940s, but I feel the best way to update the attraction is as they have always done, rewriting the dialogue and updating Act 4. The new decades simply cannot substitute what was being thematically lost, and that's why, while it has been updated many times, it still feels like Disney is destroying an attraction that Walt Disney created. I know that people like to misquote Walt and say that Disneyland was never meant to be a museum or whatever, but I think that this version of the Carousel Progress is very much worth saving, and I think the best solution is to ship it back to Disneyland, filling the empty theater that it once used to reside in. I would be perfectly happy with the new version if this one was preserved. Something about the online discourse that has really annoyed me is that I see this dumb argument pop up that every scene is outdated, because when the original premiered in 1964, it was appealing to people who had lived through those decades. It's pretty clear to me that one of Disney's greatest strengths is manufacturing nostalgia. You don't have to have lived through the 1910s to enjoy the atmosphere of Main Street USA, have existed in the late 1800s to enjoy New Orleans Square, or have any familiarity with the decades of the current Carousel Progress to be immersed in their atmosphere and nostalgia. It's something that stands on its own, and it's really aggravating to see people parrot around dumb ideas that they heard one person
So we're
put forward
done
to justify the
cutting
destruction of a
labels.
classic that should still exist in some form. Again, I think the new Carousel Progress could be great, but why does it have to come at the expense of the current one, which I doubt Disney will.
And as always, we're going to start with our
that lack of regard for legacy
flat
is something
items
that I really
first.
hate about the last 15 years of Disney leadership. And I threw together this video to express how frustrating it is.
So
Because as much as the Carousel Progress needs an update, the current plans are the wrong way to do it, no matter how good they may look. So I put this video together quickly just to express that frustration, but if you have any thoughts on what should happen to this attraction, please let me know. As always though, please leave a like to support the video if you haven't yet done so, and if you haven't yet subscribed and hit the bell notification yet either, you can also do so now to be alerted to new videos as they're released.
So we have a Total Recall prop set going to O&L in New York, New York. My second home away from home. I sure do miss New York. Hey, why not we check out the Universal Tram Tour, the complete history?
Today, Universal has 7 different theme parks around the world, with even more on the way. And none of this would have happened without the Universal Tram Tour at the original California studio. It's a fundamental part of Universal's identity that grew into groundbreaking attractions that propelled the company to the heights that you know today. And in my opinion, it's one of the best reasons to visit Universal Studios Hollywood. There's a lot in Hollywood that makes it worth visiting, from its attractions unique only to this park, to the general atmosphere and vibe, as one of the most geologically interesting parks built on the side of a mountain. But there's just something about boarding that tram and not only seeing the real studio and its history, but also encountering so many interesting effects and scenes that makes this one of the world's most unique attractions. If you're lucky, you might even get a glimpse into actual production of television and film.
Oh,
even pass
man.
a celebrity walking the lot. The tram tour is
We're gonna have to
dynamic
cancel
and
this
changing. Sometimes
and
rerouting
reprint a
visitors
label,
due to actual filming,
because it's
sometimes
already
adding or
at
removing
8
settings
ounces
is
without
experienced,
the...
meaning that it can often change quickly, even year to year. It occurred to me that the Universal Tram Tour has a
Dang
long
it.
and fascinating history, and while I've covered it briefly before, because of how it's tied into the
Oh,
development
that's
of
right.
early Universal
Alright.
Studios Florida, I really wanted to produce a video that takes a more comprehensive look at what it has offered throughout the decades. That's not to say that I'll cover everything, as minor changes often occur and are not documented, but I wanted to take a closer look at some of the broader strokes of its history to really illustrate what makes it one of the coolest attractions to ever exist. History videos always take a lot of time and effort because so much research is involved. So if you'd like to support me, please leave a like.
Good thing
on
I
the video,
double-checked.
subscribe if you haven't already, and let's take a ride on one of the most important attractions in theme park history.
Alright, so let's find that one so we can get rid of it before accidentally... Come on.
To understand the origin of the tram tour, we need to go back to Universal's founder, Carl Laemmle. He was born in 1867 in Mannheim, Germany.
Alright, so in the meantime, we can
After a
get
period of
this
correspondence with his
one.
brother Joseph, who worked for a newspaper in Chicago, he immigrated to the United States in 1884 and arrived in New York City, taking a low-paying job at a drugstore just to survive. After a few weeks, he managed
So
to
this
find
one's
a
going
job,
out to David
received some
R.
money
in
and trained
Reno,
to
Nevada.
and from there, worked various odd jobs over the next decade.
Thank you, David.
It wasn't until 1894 that he became the bookkeeper for the Continental Clothing Company in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which was his first big step into the world of business as he discovered his talent for bold and effective advertising. quickly moving up into a management role, and after a decade with the company, Laemmle had saved a substantial sum of money and wanted to initially use the funds to start a retail chain. However, after experiencing his first Nickelodeon, he turned for an indoor theater showing films for the price of a 5-cent nickel.
There we go.
Instead used his money to open his own theater in 1906, the White Front in Chicago, which was soon followed by another, named the Family Theater. In the earliest days of the film industry, it was difficult to find quality motion pictures, with manufacturers also being difficult to get into contact with, and often not delivering the films to theaters on time. By the end of his first year of operating, Laemmle opened his own film exchange to work as a reliable, quality third party between theaters and the film manufacturers, and within just 2 years, his company expanded across the eastern United States and became the largest film distributor in the country. In 1912, he founded the
Alright, so this one's going out to Courtney S. in Crystal City, Missouri.
To rise as the industry developed, he moved film production first from Chicago to New York, and then in 1915,
who ordered the set of 8-inch
settled his studio on a chicken farm in the San Fernando Valley, just outside of Los Angeles.
All-Spark cube sheets.
This is where he founded Universal City, an actual municipality to support what quickly became the world's largest movie studio. And in order to generate positive brand recognition with the public, the studio would allow in visitors. For 25 cents, people were given a boxed chicken lunch and could view films as they were being produced, where they were often encouraged to cheer and boo for the heroes and villains.
Cheer and boo.
In the first year of operation,
produced
over 250 films, so
Who
there
got
was
here?
always something for audiences to see, as production was pretty much constant. In 1928, management of the studio was handed over to Laemmle's son, Carl Laemmle Jr., and as the film industry evolved to include sound, it became unfeasible to invite in tourists as their noise was disruptive. By 1930, studio admission had stopped, and the gates were closed to the public. As the American film industry became a cultural juggernaut, and with the post-World War II rise of the middle class, tourism picked up in the United States. And of course, what better destination than Hollywood? People came to see the stars in the studios among the warm Southern California climate. And
we need our thinner tape.
Gray Line bus tours introduced their Hollywood tour. The buses took tourists through the Hollywood Hills to view the homes of celebrities, and after passing by other studios as part of the tour, were then allowed to drive through the Universal backlot to view many of the historic sets. It's a bit unclear when exactly this change occurred, but I believe that by 1959, the buses began to stop at the studio commissary so that tourists would buy lunch, which, to the surprise of studio executives, was quite profitable. With the success of the bus tours, and in the spirit of bringing back studio visitation from the earlier years, Universal invested in infrastructure like food courts, parking lots, and restrooms to accommodate tourists for a new attraction. In 1964, Universal Studios Hollywood, as they were now officially called, premiered striking candy-striped tram cars as the Glamour Trams, which for the price of $2.50 took visitors on a guided tour of the studio. The trams would drive through sets on the lower lot, which were often grouped into themes, such as facades designed to emulate New York City, an area that was used and dressed for scenes in Europe, and a depiction of rural Mexico. An interesting standout among the sets was the house from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, as well as the prop warehouse, where the tram would drive indoors, and visitors could view an eclectic collection of film props on display,
2 more
showing how much work the prop department
envelopes.
put into the movie-making process.
2 more sets of Chucky batteries going out the door.
The variety of Southern California was also great for nature landscapes as well, which was something also highlighted on
One of which is going to Marissa D. in Saddlebrook, New Jersey.
Sets were much more extensive and were always changing, even sometimes because fires would break out and burn down certain sections.
So they've had a history of fires burning down stuff.
Even up through today, it can be difficult to really chronicle the development and history of the sets, just because so much was changing all the time. Initially, the glamour trams were the only part of the tour, but according to the studiotour.com, which chronicles the history of the park, within just that first year, the commissary basement introduced a few attractions as part of the experience. This included an exhibition of costumes by designer Edith Head, and a brief makeup demonstration, which was a small show
One
designed
more.
by Bud Westmore, famous for many makeup effects, but I think is most notable for the creature from the Black Lagoon.
And the other Chucky battery set is
There was
going to
also
Anthony
what is
G.
described
in
as a
Andrews,
push-button
Texas.
monster, which, lacking information, I assume may have to do with some rudimentary animated figure of Frankenstein's monster.
It's the return of the Muppet Show. Back on the very stage where it all started and
Tourists would also leave the commissary and walk through Doris Day's dressing room, and finally, would watch two stuntmen teach an audience about how they performed action on a western set. There was also a segment of the actual tram itself, where visitors would get off at the prop plaza, and could walk around a small part of the lot. Here, people could pick up giant foam boulders to make it appear as if they had incredible strength,
Alright.
and could sit in a rocking stagecoach.
So all
with
the
a
envelope
background
stuff
simulating
is
the
labeled
idea
and ready to
of
go.
traveling through the
Now we're
West.
down to your favorite and
I can't
mine.
pinpoint whether the segment opened with the tour, but it was definitely there.
The
by at least
tubes
1965.
on the YouTubes.
This is
Oh
also the year
yeah.
that Universal opened the Visitors Entertainment
So
Center
let's do
in
it.
Vermont.
Shall you say?
Moved the
Okay.
commissary exhibitions
So
to
this
area and
one.
allowed visitors to walk
Oh,
through
and the
various sets
label's right there
labeled
on
as
top of the
Streets
stack.
the World.
Going to Robert
There
A.
were also
in Sandy
small
Springs,
demonstrations of special
Georgia.
effects, including an artificial
Very.
pond with miniatures of ships to teach visitors about how naval battles were shot. Another interesting
Wow, I
effect
think we're
was a
actually
painted
gonna get
mountain
done
background with fake snow that could be triggered by
on
the press
time
of a
today.
button,
How
and a
about
really
that?
neat demonstration of how weather is created for the camera.
Gonna be another smooth mailing
The
Monday
set
compared to
stunt show
last
was moved
week,
to the
which
new
was
Bush
almost a
Arena,
total
and that
disaster.
early animated monster
Do not
would
go
later
back and watch
evolve
that.
into something called Papa Mustard's Laboratory, which was a short show with a very crude figure of Frankenstein's monster, which would be flipped on a table to face the audience and would have limited interaction with them. The show also had a flying bat effect, and Gilman would appear from behind a curtain of foliage in the swamp. In 1967, the Ma and Pa Kettle Farm, based on the hit film series, opened on the upper lot, allowing visitors to watch what the park called animal actors participating in demonstrations about how
Animal
animals are
Actors,
filmed.
another great Universal
The early
show.
glamour trams and exhibitions of the Visitors Entertainment Center might appear humble compared to what the park grew into
Right.
later, but this is a fascinating era that only
Oh,
continues
another
to
heavy
get
one, a
interesting.
multi one. This is one of these. So this is a going to John B.
In 1968, Universal
Where?
set itself on the course for greatness and added its first major special effects attraction
Foxborough,
to the glamour.
Massachusetts.
In the
MA.
process of driving through the Mexican village, the tram would stop for a special effects scene, where water would be sprayed over the tram to simulate the idea of rain.
Oh.
To the surprise of riders, 10,000 gallons of water would then come sliding down through the village in a scene known as the Flash Flood, splashing up dramatically at the tram and utilizing simple mechanical effects to move props in the village as if the water was sweeping them away. The entire scene can reset within 90 seconds, and audiences in the 1960s had never seen anything like this before, so I have to imagine that it was quite impressive for its time. While the effect is cool by itself, what it also did was evolve the tram tour into something more than just a tour of the sets, and Universal would continue adding more special effects scenes over the years. In 1970, the upper lot added the Animal Actors training stage, which evolved the original demonstrations into an actual show, and in 1971, the Glamour Trams added the Torpedo Run to the tour. This effect seems to be less well known, but the trams would drive by Park Lake, which was actually used for filming on movies like The Mississippi Gambler, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, and even the television series Gilligan's Island. As visitors moved alongside the water, they would witness a submarine following the tram as the guide wondered if they were friend or foe, and this question would be answered as it launched a torpedo right at the tram. This effect was achieved using a mechanical underwater track, and
All
the
right.
explosion effect would attempt to startle riders with
This
the
one-
massive splash.
Another multi
In 1973, Park Lake also
backdrop
ended the
order
parting of the Red Sea. An effect
is
inspired by Paramount's The Ten Commandments.
going to my pal Jason J.
The tram
in
stopped at the
Coots,
end of the path,
Indiana.
and the guide would talk about how they were parting the sea, which, utilizing a hidden drainage system, would allow the tram to drive through a trough for what must have been a very impressive technical effect of its time. The same year, the tour also added the burning house.
Looks like
which
they're going
illustrated how
underwater.
buildings on fire were shot for movie scenes using burning gas and fireproof building material. 1974 would add 2 additional effects, with the rock slide unleashing massive foam boulders to run down the hill as if they were going to hit the tram. The other effect was the collapsing bridge, where as the tram pulled up to it, the beams and structure would begin to break apart. The guide on the tram would build up anticipation by stating that they would be fine if they drove fun and gag.
Oh man,
1975
that looks fun.
saw many additions to the tram tour, which at the Entertainment Center, as the upper lot was now called, included additional stunts for the stunt show, and a new outdoor theater was built for an attraction known as the Show of 1,000 Faces.
All right, almost there.
This 20-minute
3 more to
production
go.
involved bringing up participants who would sit in a makeup chair and be transformed into Frankenstein's monster and a new version of his bride. As this occurred, the show would explain information about the history and process of movie makeup, and once the participants were ready, they participated in a
Okay,
skit
this
where the
one's
show
going
host,
out
dressed
to
up as a mad
Peter
doctor,
F.
placed them into what he called the Eternal Life Cabinet.
Yes.
Flipping a switch and simulating an electric shock, a simple magic trick reveals the charred skeletons of the people who entered, which concluded the show.
Yeah, but if I hold it here, isn't it blocking my face? That's a wrap.
The Labrador Retriever and the Golden Retriever look similar, but eat and process energy differently. That's why...
For the actual tram portion this year, it got 2 big additions. The first was the runaway train, where, after moving through the western sets, a steam locomotive would barrel right towards the tram. The other attraction was the Doomed Glacier Expedition, based on the film The Eiger Sanction, which was released the same year. As the tram entered the ice tunnel, and riders heard sound effects of howling wind, the tunnel around the trams would begin to spin, creating a disorienting experience as if it was collapsing. With the introduction of the flash flood, the glamour trams really evolved into something beyond just a tour of the studio, putting riders into thrilling situations as if they were really riding through the movies. While all of these set pieces were inspired by certain films, or just special effects in general, they all were a bit generic, and didn't reference anything in particular. This changed in 1976, when the tram tour introduced Jaws Attack, and if you know anything about the tram tour, you'll certainly recognize that this segment is obviously based on Jaws, the 1975 Spielberg film that created the idea of the summer blockbuster. As the tram drove into a recreation of Amity Island, riders witnessed a shark fin approach a fisherman. In a brutal attack, he and his boat are pulled into the water, and underwater pumps churn the surface, which is mixed with red dye to simulate blood. The bridge that the tram is parked on leads into the water as the dock is pulled away, and as the tram begins to move forward, the shark suddenly surfaces, attacking riders on the vehicle. Yes, this first version of the shark did look quite goofy with its awkward mechanical movements and massive teeth, but I'm sure that for the time, this was actually quite thrilling for people on the tour.
I never understood the design of that
In 1977,
shark with the
upper lot
comically
debuted a
large
show
teeth
called The
on that
Scientist
tram
Theater,
tour.
which put visitors into the role of actors and extras.
Thank goodness that
as
didn't
scenes
translate
were shot for
over
a faux
to the
episode
Florida
of the
Jaws
television
ride.
series Emergency. At the end, the scenes
And
would be
down to the
spliced
last
together and shown
one.
to the audience.
We
For
made
the
it!
Tram tour this year,
No
we added
glitches
a
or
stop in the front lot,
issues.
where riders would enter Soundstage 32 and sit down for a show called the $6 Million Man/Bionic Woman Testing Center. Essentially, this was a special effects showcase using characters from their respective television series, with the show demonstrating how Studio Magic created these superhuman feats. The following year, the Screen Test Theater became the Screen Test Comedy Theater and replaced Emergency with sets based on the movie Airport 77. Despite simulating a plane crash in the water and a rescue mission, I think that it was framed as comedic because people thought it was funny to see themselves and their families participating in these roles. In 1979, the tram tour replaced the rock slide with Battle of Galactica, based of course on Battlestar Galactica. As the tour drove up to a building dressed as the facade of a ship, a Cylon declares that the studio visitors have been taken prisoner and demands that they board the vessel. The tram guide gives resistance, which results in the Cylon firing a weapon with a steam effect, and moving inside the battleship, the tram stops and a scene plays out.
Alright, we have done it.
This scene actually has a lot of really great...
Alright, I'm gonna take a break and use the bathroom. Doesn't matter because nobody's watching anyways. And then I can get into the news and updates and all that good stuff. So,
and smoke effects simulate blaster shots flying around the ship.
in the meantime, enjoy some TOYZ entertainment, folks.
Outstanding production value for something outside of Disney at the time. Speaking of outstanding production value, 1980 saw the opening of Castle Dracula in the Castle Theater at the Entertainment Center, which, inspired by the success of the Show of 1,000 Faces, erected an indoor theater in its place. There's very little documentation of what this attraction really involved, but I do know that 2 guests were taken and dressed up in makeup to look like Frankenstein's monster and the bride right before the show. The actual show itself featured an animatronic Phantom of the Opera, who I believe introduces the production, and the volunteers in monster makeup are brought out on stage by Dr. Frankenstein, who sits them at a dining table for the duration of the show. What I believe occurs is that Frankenstein is searching for Dracula, which at one point results in a startling werewolf animatronic popping out from a coffin, but Dracula does eventually reveal himself and summons his brides as the villain of the show. In a shocking twist, Dracula is defeated by none other than, and you're never gonna guess it, the Incredible Hulk. Yeah, this show seemed awesome, even though I have no idea what it was meant to be other than a showcase of movie makeup. But at least it's a really interesting evolution of that original concept, starting with the makeup demonstration in the basement of the studio commissary back in 1964. However, Castle Dracula is the very last major attraction of the Glamour Trams era, and that brings us into a new chapter of the Universal Tram Tour.
Yakov! What's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. You're just in time. We got through the boring, non-eventful stuff of printing, cutting, and attaching labels for the packages, and straight into the talking section. Catching everybody up on updates and what I've been working on and all that good stuff. So he says, wow, a mic stream. What a treat. Indeed, I hope so. Was just watching some of my favorite, one of my favorite theme park channels, TOYZ Entertainment. One of the best, one of the higher quality theme park channels out there. So be sure to check them out, give them a like and a subscribe. Oh yeah. So yeah, just got done labeling packages and all that good stuff. So now on to the latest and greatest Hollywood Toys news. And I'm sick today. Nice to have a mic stream to chill at. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate any time you could show up. Whether it's every stream, once every 5 streams, it don't matter. I love you. Thanks for stopping by. And always love the Yakov stream. So everybody be sure to subscribe to Yakov Petrovich for all of your awesome gaming streams and rants and reactions and incredible creative music. He's a genius. He's a musician. He is the one and only Yakov Petrovich, so sure to check him out. That's right. All right, so so one thing I was gonna kind of announce, which is, kind of a good thing, is on the grind, nose to the ground. Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, when I revealed one of the new backdrop that I added to the store, the Thundercats layer backdrop. So and it was a custom order, but then I thought, oh, why not? I'll make it a permanent part of the store. So I do custom backdrop orders, and over the years there have been some backdrop orders that were custom requests that I thought were pretty good ideas or pretty good backdrops that I thought heck, why not make them a permanent part of the store? And this was one of those. And so I was able to make this Thundercats backdrop for my good friend Jason, who's always asking for custom orders, one of my best customers. And wouldn't you know it, this weekend someone else ordered the Thundercats backdrop. So if it wasn't for Jason, I wouldn't have now this additional backdrop that over time, not only am I making money with Jason, now he's helping expand and spread the wealth and now make even more money from those very same backdrops that he either requested or suggested or whatever it is. So that's another new addition to the Hollywood Toys store. So aside from what I mainly, the main movies and franchises that I sell backdrops and movie prop replicas of, has always been Back to the Future, Star Wars, movie Transformers, G1 Transformers, Marvel, DC, etc. But coming soon, folks, there will be new additions coming your way, including He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, and more. Let's just say on my desktop folder where I keep all of the backdrops and so forth that I'm going to be working on, as of my last count, there's 45 new backdrops that'll be coming soon, that I just got to create the different, size print sheets and versions and all that, and then create the listings for them. And then another 10 or 30 or so backdrops that were old, but now, with the help of AI technology, I can, the rejects, the ones that I'm like, not quite good quality enough, still a little not quite sharp as I'd like it, but now I can redo those and make better quality versions of those. So I don't know. I would say probably by the end of this year we'll have an additional between 70 to almost 100 new backdrops, and that's just backdrops on top of other additional items that I'm working on that I'm also going to be adding to the store. So I'm going to share another one of those ideas right now that I've also been working on, that another idea that I came up with, and that is, in addition to the backdrops, making and creating diorama props, physical props to add with it, so you don't have just a flat backdrop aside from the figures. And I'm thinking mainly in the 1/12 scale, whatever, because I'm going to be making some of those backdrops are going to be for, your 1/12 scale, 6-7 inch figures, mainly NECA figures. So I make stuff like alleyways, all-purpose backdrops that could be just for about any type of figure, Spider-Man, Marvel, or a city street facade, those kind of things. So I thought about the various different type of 1/12 scale and 1/6 scale, but mainly 1/12 scale props that I can make, that I can include with the backdrops that I already sell, of course, for a little bit more in price. So, already I have the 13 by 15 inch option, or 13 by 20 3 or 13 by 27 or 13 by 20 by 36. Now I can offer the deluxe version with any one of those sizes for a little bit more. So like so far, things that would be it would just be time consuming, of course, but like for example, general or all-purpose figure accessories that would work with just about any figures, such as magazines, newspapers, cash, pizza boxes. That's what I have so far. And then for diorama props, stuff like rusted out oil barrels, snack machines, Coke machines, garbage cans, dumpster, newspaper machine, street signs, cardboard boxes, payphone, pinball machine, arcade machine, pool table, love seat, furniture, couch, mail drop box, filing cabinets, and things like that. And then I'm going to make some specifically for the Back to the Future figures. So there'll be lots of stuff, lots of paper props that could be made from just that universe alone. And then we'll be making stuff for the Chucky NECA figures. And on from that. Hey, Mr. Pixel Protocol is here. Howdy, Wood. Howdy, Mr. Pixel. Thanks for stopping by. Just in time for all the latest and greatest news. Just got done labeling all of my items, ready to go out the door for that post office later on today. What do you say? So, got some bad news and some good news. The bad news is, well, if you're here, and then if you watch my channel, still haven't finished and uploaded my latest vlog that I'm working on. But the good news is, I'm almost done with it. It just seems like there's always something coming up that wants to keep me away from it. So, especially on a Monday where it's the busiest, because that's when I have the most packages to deal with and all that. So once I get that done, hopefully I'll have the whole rest of the night to finally finish the vlog. I would say I'm about 75% done with it. So, and I hate to even say it and curse myself, but I don't see why I shouldn't, at the very minimum, be able to finish it by tonight and have it uploaded by tomorrow. So, as many of you know, I kind of took a pause on things, especially on lives and other videos and vlogs that I could have been uploading, because I wanted to create, a set of interchangeable all-purpose intros and outros for the channel. So get all that work done and out of the way. So now that's one less thing I have to worry about. After getting that done, now I could just go hog wild and just start recording a bunch of vlogs, multiple vlogs in a week, in a day, so that I could start at least uploading 2 vlogs a week regularly or more. So the good news, as I mentioned from last week, I have finished and rendered, and all those are all ready to go. So those are done. All the teaser intros are done. So nothing related to intros do I need to worry about for quite a while. So now, so what I decided to do is, is make a whole video talking about the struggles, the behind the scenes drama, and all that stuff related to filming those intros, dealing with everything from weather, wind, time, annoying security, where I'm going to be including all that footage, behind the scenes, outtakes, and kind of talking in detail about all, everything that went wrong and everything that went right. So what I did was, I just sat down and just recorded myself talking about all of the intros, and there's going to be seven more new intros, for example. So I pretty much talked about all the struggles of all of them, but that all came out to almost over an hour worth of raw video, not even including the intro and the outro that is going to be included in that vlog, plus, sample clips and this, that, and the other. So I've been trying to edit it down, cutting out all the irrelevant or boring bits as much as possible to try and get it as close to 30 minutes as possible. Didn't quite make it that far, so it's going to be about 40 minutes or less, between 35 and 40 minutes. It'll probably be like 38 minutes something. So I'm like, you know what, I could deal with that. That won't be too bad. So I'm done with that phase of cutting it and whatever. Now we just have to do some tweaks here and there, mess with the sound a little bit, slight bit of color grading and this, that, and the other. So yeah, behind the scenes drama of Hollywood Toys vlog coming soon within the next couple days. The sooner the better. And because I've been so behind, I'm probably going to release it as it is, and not go too far overboard in trying to tweak it, because then it'll just be days and days and days. So I apologize in advance for if it is going to be lacking in a bit of quality, but I'm just spending too much time, and I just want to get this done and over with so I could finally get to that point of, okay, that's the last hurdle that I need to get over. That's the one thing left keeping me from now. I could just start uploading regular vlogs, 2 vlogs a week or more, plus some shorts here and there. So I have tons and tons of other videos and vlog material already ready to go on top of that. So yeah, there's that. So hopefully soon. And then we can get back to the gaming stream, picking back up with the good old San Andreas lives, which, will be later, like 10, 11-ish at night, depending. And but aside from that, I was also hoping to get this vlog done and uploaded well by today, if not by Tuesday, because as I mentioned last week, one of those vlogs I'm going to make a regularly weekly thing, Toy Talk Tuesday, which is going to where I'll upload all of my vlogs related to action figures, whether it be toy hunting videos, reviewing an action figure, talking about upcoming future figure releases, talking about my various figure items, talking about past anything related to toys. That vlog, that'll be every Tuesday. And I thought I would be able to have that first episode ready to go by tomorrow, but I don't think that's going to happen. But that just means it's going to be that much better when I finally do release it. For sure, I don't see why I shouldn't be able to, like I said, have the update vlog within the next couple days. So more than enough time to get that first episode of Toy Talk Tuesday done, ready to go, starting next Tuesday. Come on, people. We just got to get it done. And Yagov says, hell yeah, late night Mike. I hope so. We're working towards it fast and furiously. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then I have other ideas. So far we have Mailing Monday live afternoons. So that's now going to be a regular weekly thing, always around the same time, between 1 and 2 o'clock. It just depends on what I wake up to, and if I wake up and I don't have any new orders and I can just start printing labels, I can start a bit earlier. If not, and I have a couple I need to knock out. I did have another new order when I woke up, but it was just one simple quick one, so I was still able to start today's live at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and all that good stuff. Know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. So get another swig. Oh! Oh, and we don't need our tape no more. There's that. Let's see. So yeah, gonna be making some new He-Man backdrops, G.I. Joe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And again, I do take requests. So if anybody, any figure collectors out there that wanting a particular backdrop, let me know. And we can make it happen, you know. And then, although probably aside from that, if I don't already have something in the store, and there's a particular type of backdrop that you want, or you just want more, just know I'm working on it, and it's probably already on my to-do list, for all we know, because we're gonna have another. I have a. In fact, let me look right now. I'm gonna have 10 new Cybertron backdrops and 26 new Transformers Generation 1 backdrops coming soon. Between doing all that and, still having time or finding time to make more vlogs, more lives, more videos, and going crazy with all that stuff. So, any questions? Yeah. So there's that. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I am missing that, or any updates that I need to talk about, or. And that's the other thing is, also once I get caught up in everything, I can go back to my live list, and work on coming up with topics and this, that, and the other. And at some point, again, also once I get caught up, at some point I'd like to do a couple of nighttime lives where, there'll be more people to come in and watch, unlike Mondays, which seem the slowest, because either people are at work or going to work and all that. So I understand that. So, and like I said, I at some point would like to do an 8+ hour live, just so I could beat my last longest live, which was over 7 hours, as sort of like either a build up, like a pre-live to premiere the new vlog, or one afterwards. Because I'm not quite sure how I want to go about that, because, like I said, I had to edit out quite a lot out of the update vlog talking about the filming experiences. So I could do a follow-up live where I can go into more detail and talk about the stuff that I cut out. Like on this one, I only talk about 2 issues that I had, when really on that shoot I had like 13 issues. In particularly the last one, because I go from talking about just the general issues that I had while out and about filming, and then save the most difficult 3 of the bunch for last. It was crazy, but I'm just glad I got it all done. And glad I got the last one rendered and done, because when I went to go edit it, and I wanted to import more of the raw footage from the very last one I did, son of a gun, I deleted all of those original videos. So now if I wanted to, I couldn't retweak the footage with the project file, because, and I always transfer all of my files to my external hard drive to back it up, which I'm pretty sure I did. But I don't know how I do it every once in a great while, even with backing up stuff. Somehow, how is it I backed it up, but then I accidentally delete it, not in just one place, but 2 places? Because at the same time, that's the other issue. Okay, thanks for bringing it up. Is, now that I'm getting into filming more and recording more, it's a constant struggle almost every other day, trying to keep this hard drive on this laptop as free as possible, because obviously the more you clog it up, the slower it's going to run and all that. So at some point, I would like to get another backup laptop. So if I need to take any laptop in for either a repair or upgrade, I still have one at home, because with the business, I cannot afford to go more than a day without a laptop, so I could keep up with my orders, and as well as work in my YouTube videos and things like that. So, and this laptop is just a few years old, and it only has 2 tera, I think not even, no, 1 terabyte of hard drive space. So I would definitely like to get that upgraded to a much as large of a hard drive. Yeah, 1 terabyte. And so part of it is, once I do a final render of whatever video it is, because those raw video files shooting at 4K, they take up a lot of hard drive space real quick, of course. So that's why I also can't wait to upload, to render this vlog and upload it, because it has, because that right there is like 30 gigs worth of whatever, that once I'm done, I could finally, again, transfer to the external hard drive and then delete it. So that's kind of why I deleted, the intro vlog folders, since, okay, I rendered them, now I just have the file, but in doing that, I somehow also deleted the backup one somehow. I don't know. Pull a Zach and get the most high-end expensive laptop you can. Well, like I said, I wouldn't say most expensive, but I do remember years ago when I did take one of my computers to get fixed or something, and they're asking, why do you need so much hard drive space? And they said, we can custom make you one specifically for, since you're going to be doing a lot of video and a lot of editing and all that. Yeah. So that's just the main issue. That's the only thing I really need, is extra hard drive space. So at some point, and when I go computer shopping, when it's time to get a new laptop, I look for the one that has the highest amount of hard drive space. So from the last time, even when the laptop before this one that started taking a crap, I think that one had at least a 2 terabyte hard drive, but it wasn't a solid state drive. And I know we're now slowly but surely switching to solid state. So I would think 3 years later, by now, we should be up to easy. It shouldn't be an issue to get one that has at least anywhere from 2 to 5 terabytes, even 10 terabytes. But no, we're still somehow stuck in the medieval times, and still, if you're lucky, you could find one out of every 20 that has a terabyte. Still, some have just 500 megabytes or 500 gigs. What is going on here? I mean, it's just so inconvenient and ridiculous that I would have to now take the computer to a computer shop to install and upgrade more, whatever. And I know it's a laptop, so it's not quite as flexible as an actual computer, where you could just open up the back, pull one out, or put one in, whatever, unlike with a laptop, where it's a lot more complicated and a pain in the butt just to take it apart, and this, that, and the other. So, yeah. And hard drives are so damn expensive these days because of the AI stuff. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, just things are going up in price, but for not much more technology. So yeah, because I also use my laptop and I hook it up to my regular TV so I can watch my videos off of the laptop and onto the TV using a stupid HDMI cord. So whenever I move the computer around, sometimes the screen will go green and I have to unplug the HDMI and plug it back in. So that's just another thing on my must obtain list, is just getting a regular computer tower just basically for the TV. So now I could just use that and another, let's say, wireless mouse and keyboard setup just specifically to watch TV, to watch either movies off my hard drive or watch YouTube videos on the TV, and then have the laptop finally be wireless, so to speak, and be able to do that. So it's like, I need a computer tower, I need another laptop, not like right now, but so that'll be first, getting an extra computer tower, so for the TV, and then at some point another laptop, and then once that's done, and take one of those laptops, or before even buying it, like I can go somewhere, yeah, I want a laptop, and before even taking it home, please upgrade it to the highest hard drive you can make it, within reason too, depends on the price. You should look into setting up a Plex server. It's totally free and lets you watch your downloaded stuff on any TV on your network. Okay. Plex server. So yeah, boring. Tech. It turns your hard drive movies into like a Netflix-like experience with descriptions and actors. Okay. Yeah, but that'll be the other advantage too, is like I know I figured it wouldn't be an issue by now, but it's like I want a laptop big enough to where I can store all my movies, and what I do is I'll download different versions of the movie. So I'll download the 720p version, the HD version, and the 4K version, because the advantage of the smaller size movie file sizes is you could put a lot more on a hard drive. You could put them on your phone, which would be pointless to try and do an HD and especially 4K file, and let's say you want to download them to your SD card on your phone, which I like to do, so at any time I could watch movies on my phone, especially in the car and I'm traveling long distance or whatever. You don't need a 4K file for your phone that small. You're not going to know the difference. But I figured I'd at least be able to do that on the laptop, but I'm always constantly having to recycle movies because I'm editing with clips from those movies a lot of the time too, and that just quickly eats up hard drive space yeah, it's whatever. So with an extra computer tower, computer towers, easily have way more space, so I could so that will become another backup hard drive too. I could upload all of my movies and just watch all my movies off of there, which is another thing that I'll make videos and lives talking about, my thoughts on physical media. Because for me, I'm slowly but surely getting away from physical media. I would just rather have it in digital form and be able to watch it off of a hard drive and be able to fit in one hard drive hundreds of thousands of movies that would otherwise take shelves and shelves in space of physical Blu-rays and DVDs and discs, whatever. I'm trying to make more space, not fill up more space. For me personally, like I just, it's just a case and it has a picture of the movie. Sometimes it's a picture of the poster or it's, Blu-ray artwork, but it's just artwork that could be recreated. It could be reprinted. You could see it in digital form on a computer screen. So I don't need the physical disc and the physical case. Because, like I said, I'm trying to downsize. I'm trying to get away from the materialistic, I got to have the collector's cup. I got to have the popcorn bucket. I got to have, no. There's just way too many things on my wish list of things I do want to buy as it is that just adds up and adds up and adds up. So the frugal me is looking for more reasons why I don't need something versus that I do. So, and we're all materialistic to one degree or another, including me, some more than others, because I do like my action figures and my video games, the, material things that I have that I enjoy. And of course, electronics, we got it. We can't live without that. So, laptops and phones and all that stuff. So, So yeah, I'm trying to And the main focus, like I said, I've been talking about forever, is upgrading my shelving system, putting in some floating shelves to see if I can get rid of even more shelves altogether, planning for the future as I build up the business more and add more and more items to the store, and I'm going to need to print more and more often. I'm thinking of how to rearrange space to put in more printers and more setup, so that way if the figures are up and all on the wall and not even on a bookshelf, that's just another space I could put another printer, another computer setup, whatever it is that I'm going to need, whatever other print or prop making machine in the future, or larger printers. Yeah, so I'm always thinking about those things too. So yeah, I like the idea of having all my movies all digital, all on a hard drive, versus spending money or wasting money on subscription services like Netflix or Amazon Prime or all that, because once I own it, I own it. It's something that I could watch those movies and TV shows, whatever, without Wi-Fi, without internet. So the internet could go out, but as long as I have power, I could still watch those movies. Versus the other nightmare of streaming services, and you have a favorite movie or TV show that is on there, but then at any time they could take it away and then bring it back again, and then even worse, it's a edited version or censored version of the movie. That's a whole other controversial topic. So I like having my movies in their original form that I can watch and enjoy at any time. Don't have to worry about Blu-rays or DVDs with scratches on it, skipping and having to stop, pull it out, and yeah. So I already threw away about 2 big books of DVDs and CDs and whatever that I've ripped to hard drives. So I have a few more that I want to make sure. Mainly, I need to get all the bonus features and stuff off of some of the Blu-rays that I have, just to free up space, while still having what counts, the actual content, the video of said, whatever it is. Because unlike that, the video games, they do take up space. There is no ripping them onto a hard drive. Although, yeah, you do have online emulators and all that. But for me, that's where I would say I'm fine with having the physical Nintendo 64 and Nintendo cartridges and the consoles, that's part of the nostalgia of it, having the original, machine, so to speak, and then you have the controller. So I don't care about that taking up space. But even then, I don't like having or keeping the original boxes and then keeping the cartridges in those, because then that also takes up a lot of space, and could fill up shelves really quickly, of course. So just boring stuff, and it is about that time, so I think this is a good spot to end it. So thank you, everybody, for coming my way, Pixel and Yakov, to my greatest supporters, and there'll be more to come. Look forward to the new behind the scenes vlog that's gonna be the launching pad for endless lives and shorts and videos and vlogs, all coming your way soon, any day. Plus the 8+ hour live, kind of work my way up to maybe one day doing a 24-hour live stream. Still thinking about the details and how to make something like that happen, and maybe even save something like that for if the day should come that I'm lucky enough to hit 1,000 subscribers. So we'll see. So yeah, thank you everybody for stopping by, or for you future viewers watching me in the past. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for all the love, all the likes, all the subs, and everything like that. So I really hope you enjoyed this live stream, and if you did, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't, for more videos and more awesome live streams like this one. And leave me some comments, give it a thumbs up, and share the video and all my videos. And you could follow me on all of my other social media, such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Discord, and more, as well as visit the Hollywood Toys store on Facebook. All the links are in the description box below yas. So yeah. And it's also a great way to keep up with everything that I'm doing because I post updates more often across all those platforms than on YouTube. So you might go days, weeks at a time without an update here on YouTube, but you can see what I'm doing in real time on all of my other social media accounts. So give me a follow all across all those wonderful places. But with that, I will say now, the fun doesn't end here, folks, as there's plenty more Hollywood Toys videos to go around. So stay tuned for even more amazing Hollywood Toys videos right after this. And to everyone out there watching, this is Magic Mike reminding you to live for your family and friends. Live your best life and live the movies!
Hey B, what do you say to watching some Hollywood Toys videos